We have concrete floors downstairs like what was original, and upstairs we have hardwood floors, same as original, and they're pines. And actually the floors upstairs, the pine is a 100-year-old pine that I brought in from Tennessee.
Wow. Just
so that it matched. What we're seeing here is the back of the original building. And then I always like to point this out. This is one of the stops on our tour. This is one of the photographs from 1919 that we blew up.
That is awesome.
Of a crew in this building, so you actually would be seeing them from
so
the street side.
So this is the direction we'd be looking at it?
Well, it would be flipped around. You'd be looking
okay.
at it from the street side into the building, but it's almost the same because really what you're looking at is a row of columns. That truck was an American LaFrance 1912 truck, and I believe the photo is from 1919, and the gentleman with the white hat was the captain.
You get a great reaction probably from the firefighters when they come to visit the building, you know, and just to check it out.
You really do. And a compliment from the director of the museum about these prints. He said, you know, the restoration really was a very good job of telling you what the building looked like, but the photographics helped you to understand what the soul of the building was, and I thought that's a nice way of saying that. You can see the two poles, the two fire poles that are here, and the one to our right is an actual functioning pole, so you're dressed appropriately if you wanted to ride down that pole.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
The pole on the left, I decided rather late to actually keep the pole,
right.
And but it does not go all the way to the ceiling of the second floor because I needed the floor space upstairs. But we got this idea of just what would it look like if a fireman
somebody was coming down there. So you have more. There's another photograph in the building that we should take a look at.
Yeah. So definitely on the wall upstairs, which is the equivalent of the second-story entrance, we have a large photo. And we have a black and white photo in our conference room, and then one in my office directly upstairs as well. You get a real sense of the character, the people worked here, and the character of the building itself.
That's great.
So shall we continue?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty dramatic if you look up there. And so what we decided to do was the wood trim work in between the floors, that's all original. And we wanted to keep that just as it was. Don't paint it, don't fill it, just leave it just as a record of what it was. And we put these thick plexiglass doors on here so that I can, visually you can see through them, but they have a lock on them so that most of the times they're locked, but when we want to have some fun, we'll open those up and take a ride down. Again, part of our extended display from the Houston Fire Museum. I guess you pulled that down when you called in a fire and it would record the location, send that in.
These were on probably every corner on the city blocks and neighborhoods, and
probably, certainly in the well-established ones anyway. This was actually the only photo I was able to inherit with the building. This image is, we believe, from around 1914. A couple of interesting things in this particular photo. You see the wires that are attaching to the building. I found out through a little research that was wiring that held up the cable car systems that ran up and down Washington Avenue back then. So they had electric cable cars that ran up and down the street. What I like about this, they had their dog with them, and that actually was was not the Dalmatian, which you usually think of, but some type of probably related pit bull.
Terrier, yeah.
Yeah. And of course I like that because this is Duke. Duke was the mascot of Axiom for 8 years, came to work here, or came to our previous office for 8 years, so I still have my portrait of the ruling Duke, so to speak.
You really get a feel for the windows up here.
Yeah, you really do, and that's the big draw, is that downtown view. Well, one of the things this reminds you of is that back in 1903 to 1930, the city of Houston was much more compact. And so this building was tied very closely to the central business district down then. So I love that aspect of, as Axiom is in here, we are also tied to the corporate business community of Houston, which we are. A lot of our clients are in the buildings we see out here.